Hey allies, I can't stress just how good God of War looks and plays on the ROG Ally. It is absolutely superb at both 1080 and 720p depending on if you're on battery or not, and we'll go into those settings in just a second. But I am just so impressed at how good this looks on the screen and how well it plays. At 1080p in-game, you will also need to turn off the VSync and triple buffering. Keep the FPS limit at 60 frames per second, and AMD FSR 2 on quality is still needed here, and you can stick with the original graphics preset as well. This will get you 30 to 40 frames per second all of the time, even on performance mode. For the most part, managed to hold around 30 frames per second with a few dips at 1080 in performance at that 15 watt mark, but I don't recommend it as it does regularly dip under those 30s, and if you hit battles, it really does chug a little bit and you get some serious load spikes, as you can see that the GPU is maxing out there. So if you drop this down to 720 with FSR 2 quality, keeping those original graphic settings, and 720 on the Ally itself, with that 15 watt performance mode, and I do recommend a little bit of FSR sharpening, it does make it look just that little bit better. Constantly hold between 30 and 40 frames per second even with the dips, and even in some areas it does get up to 50 to 60 frames per second, getting the most out of that 15 watt performance mode. Now you can drop the graphics down to low and you will gain around 5 to 10 frames per second, but this game just looks so good overall that lowering the graphics to low just seemed to be a little bit too grainy, and it really was just better to keep it at that original settings. Now, if you plug in the power, or if you want to push the turbo mode, even on battery, then putting this back up to 1080p still gets you between 30 and 40 frames per second, even in the big battles, and gets you higher when you're out and about, and looks crystal clear on the Asus ROG Ally screen. And this is how I ended up playing and losing another hour or two to testing. Even when there is a lot going on and fighting big monsters, with major cinematic effects going off, still over 40 frames per second with that 30 watt turbo mode, and it looks and plays absolutely fantastically. No input latency at all with these settings, so I do highly recommend that this is the way that you play if you dive into the game. I keep picking this game up and I'm hoping that now it's on the Ally with these settings that I'll be playing it through to completion. Let us know if you've been playing God of War and if you've tried any other settings, and let us know what they are in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.